Guys, welcome back. I talked in part one about quite obvious stuff that you sort of have to know and do to consistently win battles. But now I go into something that you also have to know if you want to consistently win battles. So, and I also talk actually because what I'm going to talk about sounds quite negative, and in my opinion, it kind of is. But I'll also talk about a way around it which works, right? So, in part one, just quickly to sum it up, I talked about you need to be good enough to win battles. Otherwise, you will never win a battle, obviously, right? So, in part two, I'm going to actually talk about politics. So, in part one, I also talked about you should battle all the time, and this has a couple of reasons. The crowd knows you, that's really awesome. I also said this in part one, but the crowd can actually influence you. The judges, right? They can actually influence simply by going wild. The judges might pick you simply because they get swayed by it. It's not like gymnastics. The judges can say whatever they want, and often they will, right? So, and that is a little bit of a problem if the judges hate you. Think about it. So, what you sort of have, even if they're indifferent to you, that's really, really hard. Now, let's say we take probably like we can safely say that he won the most battles. So let's say take B-Boy Mano, right? We all know that guy, he's awesome. And then let's say I battle him, not that I'm better than Mano at all, but just as an example, I'm actually better than him. But the judges don't know me or don't like me or, whatever. They will pick Mano, even if I won. Why? Well, for a couple of reasons. If they don't know me, they know, okay, maybe he edged it out, but, we know Mano going to be on fire the rest of the battle against all those other guys, so I'm going to pick him, right? So it's very hard to win from those guys if the judges don't know you. That's one of the reasons you battle all the time, right? But if they don't like you, at some point, like maybe it's very obvious wins, then you can still win, right? You're so much better than the rest. But the b-boy world doesn't work that way. At some point, you'll encounter people who are close to your level, even though you might be better. And the judges can just point at them. They can just you were both awesome, but I like this style more. And, both of you didn't do something wrong. Because, there are b-boys who won't crash or repeat or any of that crap that sort of a scapegoat for the judges, right? And they're just going to pick him and you can't say shit about it because it's his opinion, right? So what you actually have to do to consistently win, and this is mainly in your both local scene and in your country, always the same judges, and all you have to do, and for a lot of people this isn't a hassle at all, is simply be very, very nice to those guys, respect their decision, don't fight it, right? After the battle, even if you lose, shake their hand, say thank you, and all you have to do is to get on their nice list, is just talk to those motherfuckers, right? Just say, hey man, or when they cipher, I hope they're at least b-boys and cipher, right? Go into the circle and dance a little bit. Just give them props. Do not diss them. Do not any of that crap. Just be nice to them. This shouldn't be a problem for a lot of people. It probably is a problem for me, but you get the idea. And in Holland, but I guess everywhere, everybody always outside smoking weed, just talk to them. Just talk, chit-chat. Chit-chat is fine. You don't have to be at the birthday party. You don't have to be their best man at the wedding, right? All you have to do is chit-chat with them and you'll get on that nice list, right? Just hang out a little bit with them, only at the jam. So like I said, you don't have to go to their town and hang out with them, Of course, that would be a plus, but that's totally not necessary. So basically just socializing, right? It's kind of part of the game if you want to consistently win. Because like I said, if the judge is indifferent to you or actually kind of don't like you, they don't want to give you the win. But if they're fair judges, they will still give you the win. But if they have, they will get the excuse sooner or later to just point at the other guy. Even if it's subconscious, they will do it, right? So get on their nice list simply by chit-chatting with them. It's just the way, and it kind of sucks for for people that really don't want. I would never take that route. If I know most of these judges in Holland, for instance, for years and years, of course, because I've been in the scene so long, and they're all nice guys basically. So there is no problem there, right? But if I don't like you, hell no, that I'm gonna chit-chat with you, right? That is not the route to take. But then, basically you have a chance, even if you're good enough, I'm just talking as an example, you know, like you might not win all the basketball, and it's hard to win consistently in your country, right? Because all the time the same judges are there. I know this sucks to hear, and it's kind of lame and politics, but it's part of the game. You know, it's just a fact, right? Then, if you just chit chat a little bit with them, for a lot of people this is not an hassle, right? Like I said, for me it's kind of a problem. If I don't like people, I'm not gonna hang out with them basically or talk to them. But for a lot of people that's not a problem at all, right? Basically they, you know, you just hang out with b-boys and they are there and just talk a little bit with them. When they're in the cypher, give them props for what they do, you know. And if you're like, you know, you can actually ask them very politely why you lost. That's a great way. Like you say, hey man, I lost, but I want to improve. Can you tell me why I lost? You know, and then respect what they say. Don't think that what you're now saying is really bullshit. Sometimes it is, right? Just say, okay, cool, thank you, right? This will sort of open the door, and then hang out a little bit with them when they're in the cipher, whatever, right? You don't have to suck dick, but this is sort of really lame to hear, I know, but it's sort of a way to do. But I will talk about the way around this, right? How you can still win battle even without all that political crap. But about that, there are more people that you sort of have to be on their nice list, right? And one of these is the promoters of jams. So if the crowd loves you, great, right? You can even bring your own crowd. Like, you know, my wife and friends of me sometimes went to a battle, and when I went on the floor, they were screaming, right? Which is a sort of, it's a little hack, but it kind of works. Like I said, it can influence the judges. And, you know, like, but, you know, if the promoters know you, like you, or, you know, at least are not indifferent to you, because to win battles you have to be good enough. I hope you're at the awesome level to even win, right? But they will not invite you if they don't like you. Maybe a really fair promoter, or just everybody loves you except that promoter. Of course he will ask you, but you know what I mean. And a lot of battles are about invite. And invite is sort of hard to get into if the promoter's indifferent to you or just doesn't like you, because, you know, we all know there are enough good b-boys. In every country there are awesome b-boys, and if you don't get invited, it's like, yeah, okay, of course not. Like, you know. So how do you get on the promoter's nice list? Exactly the same. Like I said, if they're at that jam, just greet them, be very polite to them, in the sense that not like, oh sure, thank you, but just talk a little bit with them and say, hey man, dope jam, I like that you're always throwing those jams. When you're good enough, they're gonna also maybe ask you for, well, I wouldn't call it favors, but they're gonna ask you to judge a battle or whatever. And it might be a good idea to do that. But as for money, this is a whole different discussion. But hey, don't do shit for free. But you can still help them out that way, right? So then what will happen? Because you're very good, you consistently win battles, blah, blah, blah. They're gonna actually invite you to, like, for instance, the Red Bull BC one, just an example. Not that that jam is that important, but you know, you need to get into that qualification by invite, right? And boom, he's gonna ask you. So all this is politics, and to me personally, it was always lame. But looking back, man, I also I once was angry and smoked some judge in the cipher. And actually, what happened is this judge just stopped judging for a while, but then he came back and just judging again. You know, but what does that do? Well, it won't let me consistently win battles, right? So, you know, like, if you just want to consistently win battles in your own country, this is not the way. But there's a way around it, and all that political shit goes out of the way. And